Welcome, Algebra 1 students, to the homework help video, page 89, numbers 11 through 21. Let's jump right into this. Odd, of course. That's just 6 problems, so it should not take too long. For numbers 11, 13, and 15, we're going to add, okay? So here we go. Let's add these two matrices together. First of all, notice we have a 2 by 2 here, 2 rows, 2 columns. And we have a 2 by 2 over here also. So we can add them. If they did not have the exact same dimensions or order, then we cannot add them. But we can. So here we go. 3 plus 4, 7, negative 2 plus a negative 3. Looks like this. Negative 2 plus a negative 3. Of course, a positive negative just means you have a negative 3. Owe me 2, owe me 3, now you owe me 5, alright? A 5 and a negative 8, that gives you a negative 3, okay? And a 1 and a negative 2 gives you a negative 1, alright? Pretty simple. Moving on, number 13. Notice we have a 2 by 3, 2 rows, 3 columns, okay? And we also have a 2 by 3 over here. So we can definitely add these. So here we go. 1 plus 3, 4. Negative 2 plus a negative 4. That's negative 6. 2 plus 5, 7. 0 plus a negative 8 will be negative 8. Negative 3 plus a positive 1, or negative 3 positive 1. However you want to look at it, is a negative 2. And then 4, positive 4 plus a positive 6 is 10. Okay? Alright, moving on to number 15. Some decimals, but that's okay, still pretty simple. Notice I have a 3 by 2 and a 3 by 2. So we're totally good to add these together, okay? Positive 6.2, positive 1.5, that's positive 7.7. Negative 1.2, positive 9.2. Signs are different. You have this much money, you owe this much, so pay off your debt. 9.2 minus 1.2 leaves you with 8.0, and that would be a positive 8 because you had this much to the good and you owe this much. Same thing here. Negative 2.5 is your debt. You have this much to spend, so pay off your debt, and you're left with 4.1 positive. Alright? Okay, now we have you owe, and you owe again, so we add those together, and your total negative is negative 6.6. Alright? Here you have positive amount and a positive amount to the good. So we add those together, and you will get 9.1. Lastly, you have money in the hole, negative. Money in the hole is a negative. So add up all of your debt, and you end up with negative 12.9. Okay? Okay, moving on. Numbers 17 and 19, we're subtracting. Now again, students, I told you this in your notes. You are welcome to write down something like negative 1 minus a negative 5. That's fine. And then do all the work. It'd be negative 1, positive 5, and then 4. I have no problem with that. I personally think it's always better when you're subtracting matrices to make this negative a positive and then go through and change all of your signs. Then you're adding, and that's a lot easier, okay? But it's up to you. That's what I'm going to do, okay? So I'm going to make this a positive or a plus sign. Now go through and change all of your signs. Notice you do not change the signs in both matrices, just the one to the right, okay? So this becomes negative, this becomes negative, this becomes positive, and this becomes positive. We have a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2, so here we go. 8 plus negative 7, that's a positive 1. A negative 3 and a negative 7. Combine those. Negative 10. Positive 4, positive 2. Combine those. Positive 6. Negative 1 in debt. Positive 5. Pay off your debt and you're left with a positive 4. Lastly, number 19. I'm going to make this a positive. Go through and change all my signs over here. And here we go. I have a 3 by 2 plus a 3 by 2. So here we go. Negative 4 and a positive 6, that's a positive 2. Positive 1, negative 3, that's negative 2. 0 and a positive 5 is a positive 5. Negative 13 and a negative 8, that's a negative 21. A 2 and a negative 2, they cancel out, leaving you with 0. Negative 8, positive 7, that's negative 1. Okay? There we go. That's it, students. Pretty simple, okay? Now, number 21. This is interesting. Notice we have a 2 by 2 equal to a 2 by 2, okay? And what I told you in your notes is anytime that two matrices are equal, that means that this entry or element, whatever you want to call it, has to equal this. This has to equal this. This has to equal this. And this has to equal this. So what you have here, basically, students, are just a bunch of equations. Look, this has to equal this. Oh, I'm sorry, I never read the directions. We're solving for A, B, C, and D. So this entry has to equal this entry. So like I said, 3A equals negative 12. Now, what would you put for A here to give you a negative 12? Well, 3 times what? Negative 4. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. So A equals negative 4. All right, now let's solve for B. This equals this. So 5B equals negative 5. Now, what would you multiply 5 by to give you a negative 5? Would it not be a negative 1? 5 times negative 1, positive, times a negative is negative. 5 times 1 is 5. So B equals negative 1. Okay, now let's solve for C. This has to equal this. C minus 6 has to equal 1. Well, what number would you put here so that when you subtract 6 you get 1? Would it not be 7? Sure. 7 minus 6 is 1. So C equals 7. And lastly, D has to equal negative 3. So there's really no work to do there. D equals negative 3. Alright? And there's your 4 answers. Students, I really hope that this homework help video has been a help to you. If you have any questions at all, please do not hesitate to call or email.